continue with I think, from the second outline, second topic. So today we will see how we can create a formal project plan. Then we will see what are different roles within the project team and what are different project management softwares or tool someone can use who wants to be a project manager or wants to manage any project. So for creating a formal plan, you have to define how you are going to manage your project. Means it can involve the planning, how you are going to plan that projects, what are different milestones, different goals, how you're going to control your resources, and then what kind of approach you are going to define your time frame and budget and all of that. So this approaches can be depends upon the nature of your project, whether it's a long-term project or a short-term project. Uh, Maybe it takes 2 to 3 years to complete. Maybe it's a long-term one. Then how you are going to plan then? If it is organizational culture project or a personal or a custom project for a personal user, what kind of stakeholders you are going to have, what are their requirements, what are the available resources. So all of these key features you have to consider before starting a project. Then in project planning, there can be resource management. I think I have discussed that earlier, that in resource management, uh, you have different kind of resources that you have to manage. It can be human, financial, or any material resources, like how much employees do you have and how you're going to manage them. Like, do you have enough developers to manage your project? Or do you have that enough budget to manage that? So in resource management, you see all of that whether your tax can be complete within the time, within the budget or not. Then risk management in planning, you have seen if there is any uncertainty, then how you're going to manage that, whether it is going to impact your project success or not. So these are all the things that you have to consider while planning that project. Then communication is very important. Like you have to collaborate with your team members, your stakeholders. Again, repeating, stakeholders can be your sponsors, your customers, your vendors, clients. So these all are comes under the category of stakeholders. Then to take important decision, you have to conduct timely meetings. Then quality assurance is very important, your criteria for the project deliverables, like the modules you are going to deliver are meeting the quality standards or not. For that, you hire a quality assurance engineer, or you might can be assure that quality by doing different kind of test, whether your project is going to pass all the tests or not. So what you can do, you can conduct a regular inspection, reviews, address defect or whether there is any issue. So these are all the things that you have to consider while planning a project. In creating a formal plan, the important things that comes are the scope. Now, what is scope? Scope means where that project is going to be used. Like if I say that we are going to create a hospital management system, that software can be only used within the hospitals. You cannot use that on point of sale, or you cannot use them on other business. Like you cannot use that in school education system, or it cannot be used within that library management system. The scope means defines where that project is going to be used. Then the goal means what are the objective or desire you are going to meet with that project. That can be your goal. Your goal should be specific, means it should not be common. Like you can say that a specific goal is something that it should be unique. Then it should be measurable, means it can be done. You shouldn't set unrealistic goals, means the thing you cannot achieve, you shouldn't set that. Then you have to see whether that goal is going to be achieved or not. And then the time bound you have to select, means whether you are working on a long-term project, but you set your goal while managing your project that I can complete within 3 months, but there is a lot of work to do. So that is not a time bounded goal. You have to make your goal measurable, like you can measure or achieve within the time. Then the clear direction for the team member means how you are going to dictate your team to achieve that goal. uh, your goal must be like have several factors, like your goal might be the quality of product which I'm going to make should be good. My customer should be satisfied. That can be your goal. Your goal can be, I have to create a project that within a minimum cost that gave me more benefit, but I have to start with or invest a very minimum cost in that. Then how the revenue is going to be generated by that. And then the market shares, let's suppose you create an Android app, then you have to consider that I should get a good rating of that. It means 4.5. The feedback which I am getting should be good. You should reduce the cost of that. So these are, sorry, so we have to consider all of that. uh, then in budget, like the estimated cost, Kokomo model is mostly used for estimating the cost. So we will see Kokomo model, I think later in the next lecture. There are different models we used in project management to manage our budget. If I say, give a quick review, there are some values that you insert in that chart, and then you will calculate what will be the total line of code according, means on the basis of line of code, on the basis of labors and all of that. That model will predict the price, estimated price of our project. So budget is very important. You have to see there can be different expenses that you have to cover, like the labor. Here, the labor can be your developers, your team you're going to hire, your materials that you want to use, means the systems you want, different hardware devices you want for that, overhead, everything you should be covered in that budget. It should be realistic, means you have to consider a budget that can according to your project. Means if it is a long-term project, then your budget should be according to that, not non-realistic. Means you set a budget for you set a very minimum cost, but that project, but you are going to work on a very big project, so that cannot be a realistic budget. So you should set your capital according to your project. Then timeline line is very important, means the duration in which you are going to perform or complete your project. You can also mention all of these things in your documentation. Means whenever we create any project, if it is whether a software project or any other, we have to create a documentation of that, that we give to our customers, that contains all the details about that project, means the budget, the cost, the labor cost, the different expert team that you hired, what their purpose, different diagrams like UML, use case, everything you will mention in that documentation. There you can manage the timeline using a Gantt chart. The Gantt chart is mostly used to predict or show the timeline of that. I think I have shown you the Gantt chart in the last lecture. For requirement gathering, there can be a specific amount of time. You will mention that there. Then for analysis, you mention a specific amount of time. Then in deployment, you take, in this way, you will just show in the visual form, uh, in this time I'm going to achieve my all the goals. Then deliverables means the outcomes that you produced as a result of your project activities. Let me show you some examples so that you can have a good idea how the deliverables look like. So this can be a deliverable of a project, like you can see in this documentation. I think this is the documentation of a browser. So in this form, you will show your deliverables. Like in this deliverable, I think these are the test cases for each and every module that software is going to pass. Then here is the admin check history test. So in this way, you can, these are the deliverables. Means here You will perform the test like check the history or click button here, then the result that the user should see the researches, then you have given the conclusion and then the date. So in this way, you will define your deliverables and what you are going to uh, produce that and what will be the result of that. And these are all the test results and conclusions. So in this way, whenever you are going to manage that project, then you have to give all of the descriptions about the deliverables, the modules, the test that someone is going to use to test their softwares or whatever they want to test. So these are all the testing that you have also to mention if you're going to develop or manage a professional project. Then in this way, this documentation, this kind of documentation is made. Here all the description of the deliverables are given. So that was just a quick example how the working projects look like and how the testing is done or shown. So you can see these are all the details that how you're going to look. In this way you can mention in your project that means by using different kind of images that how your project is going to work, what is the working of your project, what are the different features your project can contain. So in this way, I think the project name is Density search engine, means it's a browser with parental controls like Chrome and others. So that's all detail is given here, and in this way you can use that how the user login will look like. So in this way you can give a detail while managing the project. So documentation is very important. uh, you can say that it is a guide for your customer that how your project is going to work. So see, every information is mentioned here. What is the user interface specifications? So in this way, in the form of chapters, you can mention what kind of softwares are required to complete that project or support that project. What are the different languages? See, all the visual diagrams are there. Means class inheritance model. So this was the state model. So in this way, while managing your project, you have to give all the details.
Got it, ma'am.
Then, clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what are the essentials for keeping a project on target? Means what are the factors that you have to follow to complete your project within the time? Means you can regular monitor and track your project progress. As a project manager, it's your duty to manage that project to see whether your team is working according to that goal, whether your team is working properly or not. For that, you have to keep monitoring and tracking their progress. Means there are different progress tracking tools, which we'll see later on, which can be used by different project managers to manage their project. Like there is a key performance indicator or a monitor resource utilization, that how the resources are going to be used, whether all the your team members are working accordingly or not. Means you set a target like within 2 days I have to complete this, and you will keep on monitoring whether that task is going to complete within 2 days or not, or if there is any bottleneck or any blockage is there, like whether they are leaking some resources, if any of the team member is missing. So you will address all of these issues while doing your regular tracking. Let's suppose you didn't see the progress for 1 week or 2 week. What will be the result of that? No one of none of your team member will actively perform their part in that project. Means they will get lazy to for doing their work. So the work that have to be completed within 1 week, that will be completed within a month. So regular monitoring and tracking is very important for there. Like you can say, it is the important factor for project management. Then flexibility. Flexibility means uh, whatever your project, whatever the changes your project is going to take, or whether there are external factors, your project is not going to be affected. Like, let's suppose you create a browser or any application, but it is also working well on low internet connectivity, or when the connection is not good. So it can be a flexible application. So application that changes according to, or that meet according to different changes, and no external factor affect that application or project, is a flexible project. Means it can be adjusted according to, it can be run on any browser. Let's suppose it is any application, you might use different browsers, like it supports Bing, whether it is Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox, any of them. Your application should run any of that browser. So that can be a flexible application. So flexibility is very important. That means it is very essential factor. Whatever you are going to manage or create, it should be flexible. Or project manager should be prepared to adapt plans, means adjust timelines as needed. Like let's suppose your stakeholders demand for some changes, but they says that, let's suppose they want some new features in their existing application. Then your plan should be flexible, like you have to adjust your timeline according to that, so that you can meet that changes. That is called flexibility. Means whatever happened, your project is not going to be affected by any external factor. Then regular performance review, you have to evaluate, or project manager should access the progress. Means you have to see the daily progress of your project. You have to review each team member individually, like whether they are doing their work well or not. You will provide project performance, you will see the resource utilization. So by implementing these factors, you can say these are the essential factors. By following this, our project manager can manage a good project and can deliver their project within the given time. Then what are the different roles in our project team? So like in software development industries, there are different roles for each person. Like there can be a front-end developer, a quality assurance engineer, a back-end developer, a database administrator. Same like if someone wants to join the field of project management, there are also different kind of roles for each and every person. Like the first one is the project manager. Here, the project manager is the person who is the leader, who manage, who execute, who plan. He didn't implement that project, but the thing that project manager do is the planning. Planning can contains all the goals, all the objectives, all the resource allocation, risk management, everything up there. Then he will see that how that project is going to be executed. A project manager never implement a project, but just provide a guideline to its team, lead that team. If any team member meets any issue, the project manager is going to address that issue and resolve that. It is the role or duty of a project manager. Uh, its duty is to ensure that project is going to be delivered successfully on time within the budget. The quality standards should be meted by that project. So these are all the responsibilities a project manager perform. A project manager never implement that project, means he will not going to do actual coding of that project. But the thing a project manager can do is just planning that, providing inside guideline, or addressing all the issues, or leading the team. So that was the role of a project manager. Here are some of its responsibility, like he he is going to do the project planning, like work with the stakeholders. Means he will do the time to time meetings with the stakeholders for gathering the project requirements and all. Then team leadership, as I mentioned, he is going to motivate the project team. He is going to assign tasks or provide directions. So these are all the leadership qualities should a good project manager have. A project manager should have these leadership qualities within him. Then documentation, as I mentioned, documentation is a very important part of your project that project manager should maintain the project documentation. Means in documentation, as you seen, there can be project plans, the schedules, the budget, the status report, meeting minutes, everything uh, that documentation is going to hold. So your documentation should be so professional that a professional and a good documentation can leave a good impression on your stakeholders. So it is the duty of a project manager to maintain accurate documentation. It's not like that your project is going to be completed within 3 years, but the Gantt chart you showed in your documentation is giving something else. Means the timeline that your Gantt chart is given is not going to meet the real timeline of your project. Then the budget you mentioned in your documentation is not really meeting the real budget. So the documentation should be accurate. Everything you mentioned in the documentation should be real, and whatever you have done in real, you all have to put in that documentation. Then continuous improvement means as a project manager, uh, he seeks the opportunities for process improvement, like he will take lessons from the past projects, like in the past project, let's say a project manager didn't complete that project in the given timeline due to some of its team members, or due to some resource lacking of resource. So in this way he will continuously improve his self, so that in the next project he should do the same mistake, not repeat the same mistake. So in this way, continuous improvement can also be a responsibility of a project manager. Then project team members means each team member should collaborate with other team members under the direction of the project manager to execute a task. So project team members are the peoples, or are the individual who perform their part in project. Like these team members can be project a UI designer, a graphic designer, front-end developer, back-end developer. So all of these are the team members who are going to perform their specific tasks according to the project under the guideline of that project manager. So there are different kind of roles each and every team member performs. Uh, then these are some responsibility, means they are going to solve the problem. The actual problem solvers are the team members. Only the project manager, what he's going to do is just to give the guideline to them how they are going to solve the problem. They are not the real problem solvers. uh, the team members are going to solve that problem. Means like they will resolve the problem. Any obstacle is arising during the project duration, means the actual coding the people do is their team member. Means they will execute their tasks like according to the project requirement. They will use their skills and knowledge to complete their project. So these main responsibilities comes on the shoulders of the project team. Then project sponsors, what they do, these are the people who support the project, whether financially or by providing different resources for the project. They hold a senior leadership position, like they are superior to project manager. Like uh, before project manager, they are project sponsor. They didn't do planning, or they didn't provide any guideline, but the thing they do is just support that project. Means they can be the spokesperson for their project. They can provide financial support, they can provide resources, or they can advertise that project. So these are the sponsorship or a project sponsor. So some of the key factors of the project sponsor can be, they are going to make decisions, like important decisions are made by these project sponsors, because they are the persons, these are the peoples that invest in the project. Means whether they are financially, whatever it is. So uh, they are going to make any important decision related to the project scope, priorities, resource allocations, what directions or guidelines the project manager should give to their team members. So all of these decisions should be taken by the project sponsors. Then monitoring and oversight. As the project manager monitors their individual team members, these project sponsors monitor project managers. Like as I mentioned, a project sponsor is superior than a project manager. So they are going to monitor different project managers. So there is not a single project manager. There are different types of project manager: upper level management, middle level management, lower level management. So these project sponsors will monitor all of these project managers, whether they are working actively or not, whether the project is going towards the progress or achieving their goal or not, whether these project managers are guiding their team members properly or not. So these are all the things that the project sponsor is going to manage or see. Then closure and evaluations means the project post implementation review they will do, means what are the lessons learned from that project, if there is any area of improvement in that project. And after that they will celebrate their project success, means they will contribute and ensure that whatever the project is made by them should be uh, work well, or the customer should be satisfied. Or overall we can say that project sponsor plays a very critical role in supporting the project from start to the completion. They will provide you the leadership, or to ensure that the project is going to be successful. So these are all the responsibilities of a project sponsor. Then executive sponsor. Now this is the person who is higher than you can say the project sponsor. Now he have also the authority, like for project camping, for securing organizational support. So these are some the duty of this sponsor. Like here what he will do, he will execute the project, he will ensure the objective is going to meet. he he is the person who is going to provide the financial support. So these are all the different roles of the project team. Then the last one is the business analyst. What this do? This person will analyze any issue, if there is any issue in the organization, like related to IT processes, if there is any issue in organizational structure, or if there is any issue between the staff development. So he will analyze, like how to reduce the cost, how to increase the efficiency of that project. So this person is going to analyze the overall working of that. He is going to see whether there is any area of improvement, or you can say this is a person who is going to report everything to the senior management. Means he will see how I can increase the efficiency of my project, how I can make the things better work within the minimum cost. So this is the role of a business analyst. Then he also have some different responsibilities here. Like what he will do, it will increase efficiency, strengthen the business processes. Then it is going to identify and prioritize the organizational functional needs. Means he is going to see whether there is an area of improvement in the business or not, or he will highlight some tasks that hold some priority, means that should be performed when let's say there is any technical fault in the system. So what he will do, he will say that the first priority of the organization should be to repair that system. Like using SQL and Excel, he will use these two things to analyze large data set. Means he will then use different databases to evaluate the data set, and then he will take out some important information from that data to take decision depending upon that data. What let's take an example. He will gather the data of all the employees there, and then let's say if we want to give a yearly award to each and every employee there, then according to their work, he will decide the award according to that. So that can be what all our business analyst will do. Now, the last thing which we will see here, the tools that can be used to manage a project. So the first one is that is provided by the Microsoft is the Microsoft project. So it is the tool that is going to be managed by used for project management. So you can go on there on Microsoft project management, Microsoft I think website here. So here you can see this website will provide you the pricing and product related to project Microsoft project management. So these are all the details that are given here, how you are going to manage that. See, if you want to power your automations in this way, it is going to provide that. So if anyone wants any tool, so I think this is the one of the best tool that is provided by Microsoft.
And what's the name of the tool? Sorry.
Yes, any questions?
Yeah. What's the name of this tool again?
Microsoft Project Management.
Oh, all right. Okay.
This is provided by Microsoft, and this is the paid software, I think. And if someone wants, and according to your budget, you can purchase this and use this.
MS
But
Project, right? Usually named as MS.
now let's see another one. Then there is a website available there called monday.com. Which one is the, so it is a cloud-based software that is available, means you can online, instead of installing in your systems, you can use this on that online. It's an online tool for managing your project. So let's see this. I have already signed in this. If you want to sign in, so you can just easily go and create your account here. Then it is very easy to use that. This, like, you will here write the title of your project, like any title you want to give here. My project, let's say I can do this. Then you will go to next. Then these are all the tools and status. Let's say you are an owner of your project. So yes, you are a owner and you are going to working on it. So if you want to enter a due date, you will enter a due date here. If you want to set budget, here you will, like here working on it, the budget will be this. When it is done here, if it is stuck, so in this way you are going to manage the budget. So if you want to manage the timeline, you just have to click here on the timeline. So see, you can enter all the timelines here you want to enter. Then if you want to enter some notes here, you can enter some notes, priorities, like as we mentioned that a project manager will give priority to each and every task. So see, you will give a status, like let's suppose it is the, let's say, action item. See, you give a note, meeting note. So in this way, you are working on something, you will give a status that we are working on this. If it is done, you will give a status of done. If it is stuck, then you will give a timeline there, the note, the priority, whether it is very important, you will give it a higher priority. If it is not important, you will give a medium, and if it is not too much important, then you will give a low. So in this way you can track or manage all of your project. Like here in the status bar, you will enter the status of that. So
The meeting is about to end.
any questions? That was all about today's lecture.